All right. I give it a little bit more light. Y'all gotta excuse me because I'm technically driving, and it's like 4 or 5 in the morning, so this light shouldn't bother too many people. Now, what I want to talk about on today's topic is men's health, specifically men's emotional health. I see a lot of TikTok videos where it says, you ever see a guy and you're wondering what's going on with him, but if you ask him a question, he says he's okay, and they said he's not okay. Absolutely correct. Yes, men have no shelter in the storm. When things get tough, we are expected to overperform than underperform. And when we underperform, we're judged. We're judged not only by other men, but we're judged by the women that are in our lives, and some that are not. And I just like to say that that needs to change. It needs to change for a lot of reasons. Here's why. If you haven't been keeping score, okay, we are an endangered species, and you hear people say it, oh, they killing our black men are going to jail at a record rate. Also, suicide. It's easy to self-destruct. Just to wake up one day and feel as though the pressure of life has got to you so much that I'm tired of this shit. And not only am I tired of this shit, if I gotta go, let me settle the scores that I got left unsettled in this life. That can happen easy to anybody. We see it all the time on the news here recently more than others. People don't realize that the term that's used in urban culture called the shooter. A shooter is a person that has lost their moral understanding and values, and it's been replaced with monetary desires. And the pain, anger that's brought out into the world can be easily cultivated in the violence. If you take a person that has nothing, no hope, no dreams, no desires, no monetary wealth, and you put the wrong tool in their hands, and you tell them, listen, you can build a house with this, you can build a life with this, you just gotta be willing to use it. A person that has devolved down to the simplest understanding of existence is going to take that tool and use it. Some effectively and some very ineffectively. So easy a monkey could do it. So easy a caveman could do it, is what the commercial used to say. When you devolve versus evolve, when you devolve, and all you have left is basic instinct, and you bring that basic instinct out into the world, and it's manipulated and cultivated in the wrong way. Somebody giving you the wrong tools for the job. Because there is a saying for all those mechanics out there that there's a right tool for the right job. If you are fixing your life, if you want your life to be better, handing you a weapon with no guidance other than immoral understanding is the wrong tool to fix one's life. And that's what a shooter is. Someone that has devolved and been cultivated, manipulated, and given the wrong tool for the true job that should be done is fixing his life, and given the wrong tool, and he's put out the work. We have to understand that happens more so than anything else in this world right now. This world is hyper violent. And what I mean by hyper violent is attributed to a lot of things. It's poverty, it's pain, it's a loss of hope, a loss of moral compass, a loss of understanding, a loss of love, a lack of intelligence, a misunderstanding of birth sometimes. But I can only speak about the black situation right now as it stands because our culture needs help. It needs greater understanding. And it really goes all the way down to a man's health. A male child put out to the world is going to go through things unimaginable. And it has nothing to do with race, color, or creed. A male child is going to go through things unimaginable. As a parent, we try to keep our children from the harms of reality in life as a whole. We do them no justice when we do that. But we're only doing what was done for us, or the understandings that are socially acceptable. And the things that were done to us in our childhood and upbringing were done by people with naive concepts, cultivated through misunderstandings, and socially acceptable ideals that were created by people who wanted to control outcomes. I was told by someone that, and it was a simple concept that I never really grasped at the time, but it hit home like a ton of bricks. You can't control everything. Life has changed. There are some things, though, that you can manipulate and alter in your favor to give yourself a better chance. And yes, you should do those things every day to try to keep some semblance of order in your life. But to be totally honest, the chance part is the greatest sum of dysfunction. And we have to accept that. Once we accept the fact that I cannot control the day, I cannot control all the outcomes of the day, I cannot impress my will enough on this day to bend it to my will. So I'll accept it as it comes. That's hard for some men. Some men's personalities are larger than life, or they think they are. And it's hard for them to understand that. And it would be even harder for them to accept it. And that becomes that first nail in the coffin of destroying a man's psyche to a point where he's devolving. All of us, to a certain degree, have mental issues and disorders. I heard someone once say we living in a giant sane asylum. To a certain degree, yes, we are. And very few of us have the means or desire to escape. You know, the Bezos of the world are spreading this insanity into the universe. The Musses, the Bransons, you know, the men so crazy from genius, they actually trying to escape the asylum. for some of us that know escape is not the way. We sit and we learn and we cultivate our understandings to something different. To learn to accept chance and the fact that our personality is not larger than this life. And then we move forward to try to spread understanding to others, to give a moral compass to the lost. As a culture, we need to understand that our men are out here hurting. So much pressure is being put down on them that the outcome of trying to escape and get from underneath that pressure is destroying a man's psyche. Where a motherfucker can offer you money to die. To die, the last thing that you ever going to do in this reality. A motherfucker can pay you to die. But if not that extreme, pay you to sacrifice your self-respect, pay you to walk away from the people you love and you should be protected, pay you to not care or what happens to the man next to you. And that's what's happening to us. That's why as a species, as an African American, as an African, as a king, we are sacrificing our kingdom for shiny stone. I'm not a history buff, but I'm gonna jump out there and say the Massachusetts Purchase. I could be wrong, where the Anglo-Saxon settlers, the colonialists came across Native Americans and convinced them to give them a wide swath of land for shiny objects, shiny rocks. Now to the Native Americans, who are simple people, seeing these stones and objects they've never seen before, they gave them value. They assessed the value of these objects as more important than the physical land they were standing on. Because at that time it was so much land, and they realized they didn't own any of it. And if the white man wanted to feel as though he had ownership over something that he could not have ownership of, truly, he was willing to sacrifice these shiny things for his foolish concepts. Then let him have it. Worst idea ever. And I might come back in the comments and do more with correcting my assessment of that historical event, because I'm a little rusty. But since I love business and war, I'm kind of sad at myself for not being sure at this moment, but I have a bigger issue that I'm trying to tackle, so we're going to keep moving. But whenever you sacrifice your wide swath of land, and what I mean by that is your mind is a wide swath of land. You can build on it a million times. Millions of millions of acres, square footage to create and cultivate. And we're sacrificing the shiny things. We have to learn to stop sacrificing our swath of land for shiny things. Stop sacrificing our ownership of oneself for foolishness. We have to learn that. as a people. I had a best friend that passed away. She meant a lot to me. And she once made a statement like, do you want the substance of life or the fluff? See, the substance of life is something that can be counted on. It's something that can be cultivated. It's something that can be grown. It's something that can be owned. The fluff of life has ownership, but not much more. Substance being your moral compass, your pride, your respect, your love for people, the home you own, the mind you control, the fluff of life. Cars, clothes, shiny things, unattainable concepts held loosely in our grasp. There's no real ownership at the end. We have to decide to have the substance of life, because it's the fluff of life that is driving us insane. You do not have to have the biggest car to get the work in. You do not have to have a foreign in your driveway to feel important. You do not have to have $1 million home to live in. That is the fluff of life. You need a car that works and that is reliable, good on gas, low fucking costs on maintenance, if you're smart. You need a home that's obtainable for ownership, and it should not take 30 years to do it. There are plenty of 4 and 5 bedroom homes that are in really nice communities that do not cost $1 million, that do not even cost $500,000. See, it's not living above your means if you got it. But if you figured out a way to get it, why throw it away on something that's so unimportant? Yes, having a stable kingdom to call your own, a castle to protect and go to, is very important. But blowing $500,000 to $1 million of hard-earned struggle money for brick and mortar is foolish. That shit ain't for you. Yes, you live there. Yes, you enjoy how it makes you feel. But the feeling is not all because of the home sometimes. The feeling is because you know you bust your ass and you're better off than millions of other people. Your inner narcissist feels good for a second. It doesn't feel insignificant. And that is one of the real reasons why you did it. When you went and spent $1,500 for those jeans, that is one of the real reasons why you did it. Your inner narcissist. That little angel that might sit on one shoulder. It's telling you, man, it feels good to be better off, doesn't it? There are people in this world that own nothing that feel better than you on most days. Now, what I do know, and I'm very, very, very knowledgeable on, is Alexander the Great. Where on his deathbed, he told his generals, his trusted friends, take all my wealth, my worldly wealth, and as they carry my body through the streets, throw my wealth out in the street behind me. To me, that was deep. Throw my wealth out on the street behind me. Because that man knew, can't take that shit with me. Let the living enjoy the spoils. Because from where I'm going, there's a new realm to conquer, new things to value. You don't have to be a conqueror to see the bigger picture. You go out and you kill yourself so your inner narcissist can feel a little bit better about itself every day. Just so you can tilt your head back slightly and poke your chest out a little bit. But when the end comes, the fluff of life stays. Then the only thing you take with you is the substance of who you are. You have to put your concepts on the path, listen now, of sustainability. You keep wanting and desiring something different and greater for yourself that it's a substance of love. Your mental health as a man, as an African American man to be specific, but as a man, any man who hears this, your mental health, your definition of being is substance. It's emotional, intellectual substance. It is tied directly to your physical form and your total existence as a whole. You have to invest in your mental health, your emotional understanding, your election, your intellectual being. God, excuse me, it's a little early. You know, I'm not talking about going to the gym every day and eating wheat germ and chai and turmeric and honey and yeah, let somebody else talk about that. I'm talking about getting up every day and decide not to blow your fucking head off. I'm talking about getting up every day and not wanting to go settle the scores in life. Like shoot your boss in the face for playing with you that time with your check when you was trying to get them Christmas gifts for your kids. I'm talking about going find your ex-girlfriend who played in your face after you spent thousands of dollars of hard-earned money while she was fucking some bum-ass fucking nigga and you just, what, bitch? I'm talking about that type shit. I'm talking about not waking up one day and decide to shoot and kill your whole family in a staged burglary because you want to start over because you screwed up this idea of what your life is at this point, going this direction you went. I'm talking about throwing it all away for nothing because you're mad, you're hurt, you feel lost. If you do not invest in your greatest asset, which is your mind, your spirit, be damn having a healthy body with an unhealthy mind. Because my friend, you just made a living weapon when you did that. I do not have all the answers. I do not know a specific path to go. Like you and everybody else, I struggle with demons every day. I am one of those people who have trouble every day. But I didn't put a lot of time in this reality. A lot of wars were fought inside and outside. To be talking to y'all today, things that I wouldn't even wish on some of my enemies. If you do not keep a healthy mind, a healthy intellect, if you do not protect your moral compass, if you only focus on living, building a healthy body, collecting shiny things, all you've done is created a living weapon, a mindless tool to be used for destruction and violence, no matter how rich you are. I'd rather be wealthy in my concepts and understandings of my emotional and intellectual self than rich in the world. Because when your time comes, all the Murrays and Richard Muellers and Bugattis and Maybachs with curtains are going to be still here in this world, thrown out behind you while you're being carried, the substance of you, to the grave. Invest in yourself and your mental health, people. Invest in your intellectual self, people. That is the substance of who we are. It needs way more investment than we have been giving it. And when you make poor investments, it shows. So when you watch the TV and you see the murders and the rioting, the reality TV shows with the fighting and the yelling and the infidelities, kids running around damn near devolved back to cavemen and women. It's been a lot of poor investment. And we need to start creating more emotional and intellectual advisors. Like you got a financial advisor. You need an emotional and intellectual advisor. Oh, wait a minute. They already exist. But they are shit at their job. Look at shit out here. We got to get back to doing self-examination. We got to get back to self-awareness. We got to get back to self-understanding. And this ain't that black power shit. This is the only power shit. Look, it's not about how I look. It's how I think and I feel about the black situation. Brothers, we need to start loving and hugging again, or it ain't gonna be enough of us left to change shit. Sisters, look, do what y'all do. But if you ain't gonna help, you damn sure hurting. Storm Cat, black situation. We're gonna get it right one day, people. Next time.